Everybody here, and we want to especially thank, Frank was just given credit for the idea for naming this park to some of us, and we are just thrilled to give Terry Napier the credit for several months ago, or a year ago, he thought it would be suiting. And
give it up for Terry.
Thank you, Frank. Anyway, and frankly, if it rains, I'm happy to stand here in the rain because everything in our yard is dying, so we'll take it. First, I'll do official city stuff. I'm representing the city, but then also want to take us back a few years as well. So the city has very high standards when it comes to naming a park. First off, you have to die before that can happen. And this one, Fingerprints of Jerry, have been on lots of our achievements, and I was just talking with Boots over here I don't have Red Cross listed in my comments for some of the things that Jerry was involved with, so that's another thing to add. But her impact is certainly being felt in our community today, especially in our downtown, so this is very fitting. And she was truly a most amazing woman. So representing the city, we officially say thanks to Jerry and are just pleased to name this park. Also, the downtown is downtown. This is Bristol. It's not Bristol, Tennessee. Bristol, Virginia, of course, it has to be for some official stuff. But we like to say that this is our downtown Bristol. I'm honored to be here today and be able to speak. But personally, I'd rather not be here. I'd rather be at a meeting with Jerry Goodpasture and planning the next big thing. But how fitting it is to have Jerry's name on this park where people can be creative with music in our downtown. Bristol's blessed with a can-do attitude. It takes a village, and we had a village. We still have a village. We had a village of people who worked together with Jerry to make things happen early in this most recent renaissance in downtown Bristol. With that in mind, I'd really like several of the early involved folks to come forward. And Vicey Dotson, that's you with your big mouth. And Christina and Eric, and just for those who aren't familiar with the older, did Eric leave? Eric, get up here. Eric got involved before Christina ever was involved. He came into town and he said, "What are y'all doing?" And motivated a lot of us to take stuff to the next level. Of course, John and Ann Gillenwater, we were hoping that John would be here. He's on the agenda, so we hope he'll be able to be here shortly. Jean Burnett, our mayor of downtown. Where's Jean? Come on up, stand up here. And Karen Hester, and I'm not sure Karen's here. Peyton Boyd, get up here. And some folks, I don't think Mike Sparks is here. Sherry Brown. Other folks, Mary Beth Bernero. Is Mary Beth here? She was hoping to be here. She is here? Where's Mary Beth? Mary Beth, get up here. Mary Beth was in downtown before downtown was downtown. How does that date you? I mean, we know Saving of the Paramount started things, and it was quite some time after that we really got some other things going. And that's not to say there was stuff prior to that too, but this is Jerry's period of time. Harry Scanlon's not here. David Shoemaker wasn't able to attend. Ruth King, Ann Corley, Bristol, Virginia City Council person I talked with yesterday, or the day before, is her birthday, and she wished she could be here and sends greetings. Randall Perkins, some early investors and people who spend a lot of time going to meetings and trying to make things happen. Frank, move over this way. So just all of us together want to appreciate what we did working with Jerry. Early downtown projects, I saw Jerry and Ann Gillenwater joined at the hip or the heart or wherever energy comes from, coming up with one great idea after another. There was never a dull moment. They had one thing going or another. And the projects that Jerry and these folks and John left us with are Beaver Creek Walk, how fitting this is right beside our Beaver Creek. And the dream hasn't materialized like the original dream was, and I know a lot of y'all here contributed, and I think $150,000 was raised for that project. But what it did do is new flood study that was desperately needed, and the mitigation that we're just about ready to finish in a joint project with the two cities. I'm going to say it wrong, but Las Posadas, the Journeys In program that's been going for 15, 16 years in our downtown, a great Christmas event, and I encourage all of y'all to come and get your church members to come. Border Bash was their idea to get going, and I can visualize Jerry standing and selling beer on the KP duty front porch by herself. Border Bash after Border Bash, and she stuck with it. Loft tours from the top down, the very first time we did those, again, Jerry and Ann idea, and we're still doing those, just did them last Saturday, and if you weren't there, you missed a treat, and a lot of hot weather. Design Symposium, which was Peyton huge part of, but that also had fingerprints of Jerry and everybody else on it too. And we just held another one, I think there were two long time ago, we just had one last year. Again, historic zoning, we hadn't accomplished that yet. Jerry went door to door trying to get signatures from property owners, trying to support historic zoning. We also had different programs. Believe in Bristol, this is the less fancy, flowery stuff. She helped with the incorporation and the nonprofit status. Not easy stuff to do that detailed work. Also, we had a URA study, and I forget if URA stands for Urban something something. Anyway, thank you. Urban Redevelopment Alliance. Thank you, Eric. He was a big part of that. They came from Asheville. They helped us move things forward. Also, partnership with UT School of Architecture, and that was from Davis, who was such a cheerleader for our community, and who's just like coming in and bragging on your 4-year-old about how much they can do. Gave us a lot of confidence. And in addition, I know Jerry was passionately involved with Bristol Ballet, and Michelle is here somewhere. Also Bristol Soccer Association, and helped a whole lot with that. Jerry very much believed in Bristol. Working with others, she dreamed, and then she rolled up her sleeves and got to work. Jerry was an integral part of this particular revitalization that began in the late 1990s. And I like to, when I visit other places or people in our region talk about our downtown and how vibrant and exciting it is, I like to share that a large part of Bristol's success comes from our grassroots development. At the beginnings, the city governments were not strong participators. Dedicated, energetic, faithful community members made things happen. Jerry Goodpasture was a critical leader in this effort. Today we honor Jerry with remembering her legacy, this legacy, with naming the park. And I just want to say to Jerry, yes, we still all believe in Bristol, and honor you today with the naming of the park. Thank y'all very much. I think I can go ahead and introduce Frank. We're really thrilled to have him speak.
Thank you, Margaret. This is a great crowd, and thank you for being here. I have to tell you that some years back, Jerry and I were in Milwaukee, and we ended up in a park down by the lake, and it had musical sculptures like this, and she was enchanted with that concept. I don't have to tell you that she was a real Hispanophile, and she lived in Spain for a couple of years, and she had a master's in Spanish from Middlebury College. And the fact that this is going to be named Plaza, a Spanish word, that all fits very well, and she would be very pleased. I think one of the most salient points about today and about this naming dedication is that it's been 4 years since she ended her battle with cancer and had the ultimate victory. It's so important to consider that the naming of this park is not a reflex gesture at her passing, but rather a thoughtful and considered honor for her work that my family and I sincerely appreciate. We offer sincere thanks to the City of Bristol, citizens, City Council, paid staff for all their work in making this happen. Jerry and I met in college in 1974, and she was at Mary Baldwin College, and I was at the University of Virginia. And it was the last semester of our both of our careers. And then we got married in 77. But I always say if I hadn't been drafted and come back to college, this never would not be happening. But for a young Houston debutante to come to Bristol was a mild culture shock. And we didn't even get a Tex-Mex restaurant for 10 years. But needless to say, despite her big city upbringing and her new home in Appalachia, she embraced this town with all of her heart. Her Texas swagger and can-do attitude were intimidating to many, perhaps a turnoff. But as people saw that she walked the walk and was indeed a workhorse with a keen awareness for the possible, and with many ideas and with the energy and enthusiasm to bring them to fruition, people began to see that this was a true asset to the community, this woman. And she was also a promoter and cheerleader. And even though the Beaver Creek Walk didn't come, the notion of making it a focal point like San Antonio has not happened yet. It was way before its time. But the spin-off activity that Margaret mentioned has been a true renaissance for downtown. All the attention that's been brought there. And I know that Rick Boucher was a big proponent of the Riverwalk idea, but the Corps of Engineers did an assessment of downtown and said it's not worth saving, not for the expense that they were going to have to go through, but it is now. The worth of downtown has increased many-fold. So, and although the honor here is for most of her downtown work, she did do a lot of other activities, such as working for the Red Cross, ballet. She did CPR and taught swimming and touched many, many lives. And the Bristol Soccer Association was a huge commitment. And she also coached the Virginia High soccer team to a quarterfinal in the state, starting out with 0 wins and finishing up in 4 years. And during the many hospital visits she had at Wilmot, the people she came in contact with, she knew at least every 10th person. And they knew her, all because of her activity. After reading her obituary, one of my fraternity brothers said, "When did she sleep?" But in closing, Jerry's mantra, and it had to do particularly with her efforts downtown. Her mantra was this: I want this to be a place where my children will want to return. Thank you, Bristol.